Good morning, good morning, good morning. I am so upset today. Uh, I was supposed to come on at 11 o'clock, and I've just been having so much technical difficulties with the system today. But I am here. I am back. God bless that. God bless you guys. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. It's good to be alive. It's good to be on the show today. I want to touch on something before I really get started. Um, on Friday, I was supposed to come on at 3 o'clock, and I didn't realize that there was a wedding that I was supposed to go to on Friday. I thought the wedding was going to be on Saturday, and almost time for me to come on. I found out that the wedding was Friday at 5 o'clock, so I had to get my stuff together and get me together, and I should have came on and canceled the show, but I was not here on Friday. So I'm going to try to make up for that today. So my apologies for that. Today we're going to do a lot of stuff on baseball playoffs. We're going to touch on the college scores this past weekend, the winners and losers. We're going to touch on a little bit of the NBA preseason last night, over the weekend, and of course yesterday. Woo! The NFL. What some good games yesterday. I got a lot to say about certain teams. I got a lot to talk trash about some teams. So, but this is the Earl J Sports Talk Show. I am live. You can hit me up. You can chat with me. You can subscribe to my channel. You can give me some views. You can watch it. You can save it and watch it later, however you want to do it. But I am here today on Monday, running late, but we are here and we're going to get it going on. Before I touch on that and before I touch on anything else, let me hit you with this. Hey! Okay, let's jump right into it. Let's jump right into some baseball that was going on over the weekend. This past weekend, of course, the Cleveland Guardians, they beat the Rays in that series, wild card AL series, 2-0, and they looked pretty good doing it. I believe that last game they played, the second game, it went over. Excuse me. It went over 14 innings. The Cleveland ended up getting a run to win that game 1-0, and they beat the Rays. They beat the Tampa Bay Rays 2 games to none to move on, and they will be playing the New York Yankees in the next round, which should be interesting series. You know, Aaron Judge is a bad boy, so we're gonna see if Cleveland can get by them. I'm not going to make any predictions yet. I believe that series is going to start tomorrow, but most likely the Yankees might be able to get that first game at home. But we are getting into that probably tomorrow. But also the Mariners won their series 2-0 over the Blue Jays. They beat them 2-0 over the Blue Jays, so they're going to be moving on. And the Mets, I thought the Mets would take the San Diego Padres out, but they didn't. The Padres was able to win that series 2-1. So the Mets is going home. They're going fishing, and the Phillies they beat the Cardinals 2-0 in that series. So they're moving on. So these games is going to be starting up tomorrow. The Phillies is going to be playing the Braves at 107 on Fox on tomorrow. So I look for the Braves to win that series probably, and probably move on. We'll get into that. But and also the Seattle Mariners will be playing the Houston Astros tomorrow on TBS at 3:37. I look for Houston to win that series. Possibly they should be able to win that series. They've been hot out. They won over 100 games this year. So I look for them to possibly move on. Should be a good series though. The Yankees, like I said, the Yankees and the Guardians, they play on TBS at 7:37 tomorrow. That'll be a good one. I believe the Guardians is at the Yankees. The Yankees had a better record, so I think the Yankees has the home field advantage right there. The Dodgers will be playing the Padres at 9:37 tomorrow night on FS1 Sports Channel. FS1, the Dodgers and the Padres. That should be a good series. A good series. Also, I think the Dodgers might be able to win that series there. So that's how baseball is going to be going. It's everything is set for the next round, and it's going to be getting underway tomorrow. And we'll see who's going to be moving on to the next round. Who's going to be, the last two teams coming in the weeks to see who's going to be in the World Series. We want to touch on that. So I want to jump to some college football over the weekend. Saturday, there was some really, really good games on Saturday. I got a chance to watch a little bit of the Ohio State and Michigan State game. Michigan State is right now they're 2-4. And Ohio State, of course, is 6-0. Ohio State looks pretty good in that game. They ran the ball good. C.J. Stroud, he passed for over 350 yards and 5 touchdowns. So he was doing this thing in that game. Michigan State is not what they had been in the past. So look, Ohio State to move on. They got to bye next weekend, and after that, I believe they're going to be going up against Penn State. Can't wait to see that game. Also, USC beat Washington 30-14. They kind of struggled for a while, but they was able to pull away and win that game. USC is looking good. They're at number 6 right now. I'm going to give a top rundown too on the top teams that I think are in college football right now. Florida was able to get by Missouri 24-17. I thought Missouri would play a lot better after they gave Alabama was the Clemson all they wanted last week. So that didn't work out too good for Missouri. Florida was able to win that game 24-17. Michigan beat Indiana 31-10. Michigan continue to look good. Their running game is looking pretty sharp. To go in there and beat Indiana at Indiana. So Michigan is at number 4 at 6-0. But the new ranking is out, so I think they moved them down a little. We'll talk about that later on. Another game in the Big Ten was Maryland and Purdue. Purdue was able to get by Maryland. I thought Maryland would go in there and at home and win that game, but Purdue brought their A+ game on the road and was able to win that game. Louisville, Virginia. Louisville had kind of started out pretty good during the season. Then they kind of struggled a couple games, but they came in at 3-2. So they was able to win that game against Virginia. Virginia is 2-4. Louisville won that game 34-17. TCU, oh wow, woo, that was a good one right there. I watched quite a bit of that game. TCU. I thought Kansas would win that game at home, because they had came into that game 5-0. I have been 5-0 in a long time since they've been 5-0. It's been years since they, been undefeated like that. And TCU came in, undefeated also, and it was up and down the field most of the game. The whole game was up and down the field, and TCU was able to get that last touchdown to make it 38-31. But Kansas got the ball with a little time left and was able to get down there around the 20 or 30-yard line, but they couldn't get it in. And TCU ended up winning that game 38-31. I really thought Kansas would win that game, but TCU, they really showed me something in that game. They got some dynamite receivers that catch the ball, catch the deep ball, and when they catch it, they take it to the house. They don't be messing around with it. Tennessee LSU was a good game also. Tennessee is starting to shape up and look good. They're going to be playing Alabama, I believe, coming up shortly in a few weeks. And TCU, but back to that TCU game, TCU, they're out there in the West. And when they played Kansas, I really thought that TCU offense, I knew they was good, but I just thought that Kansas offense was a little better. So Kansas couldn't hold on. But Tennessee beat LSU 40-13. Okay, and in that game, Tennessee was just able to score at will whenever they want to. LSU don't have the talent that they normally have, even though they're 4-2. They're looking okay, but they just wasn't no match for Tennessee on Saturday. Tennessee is 5-0 now, and they're moving up in the rankings, so watch out for them. Arkansas went down to Mississippi State, and I thought Mississippi State would win that game, and they did. They are 40-17. They're 5-1 now. Arkansas falls to 3-3. So Mississippi State got some games coming up. I think they play Alabama also later on. Oklahoma and Texas. Wow. Texas went into Oklahoma and put a shocking on them. I mean, they really did. 49-0. Oklahoma started out the year in the top 10. And, a lot of people thought they was going to really make some noise to get in the college football playoffs, but they just haven't been able to do that. Texas really played good. That boy, Quint Evers, came back, and I believe he threw for 4 or 5 touchdowns in that game, and he really looked good. Texas is 4-2 right now. Oklahoma falls to 3-3, so watch out for Texas to get back up in the top 25. And Oklahoma, I think they came in at number 18. They'll probably fall completely out of the top 25 right now. A game that I really thought Buffalo was playing in the MAC. They was playing Bowling Green, and I thought Bowling Green would win that game at home, but Buffalo went there and they completely blew them out, completely blowout. Buffalo is 3-3, and Bowling Green now is 2-4. Buffalo won that game 38-7. Game that I really thought and I predicted right was the Eastern Michigan Western Michigan game. Eastern Michigan went to Western Michigan, took their A+ game on the road to Western Michigan and beat them 45-23. So Eastern Michigan now is 4-2. Western Michigan falls to 2-4. Another game that was really interesting over the weekend was, I believe this game, Akron U. Like I said on the last show, they just don't have a good team now. They was 1-4 going into the game on Saturday, ended up losing that game to Ohio 55-34. Akron U falls to 1-5. Ohio goes to 3-3. So Akron U got to do some recruiting there. They're just not a good team now. So and over in the HBCU conference, Alabama A&M was all over Grambling 37-31. Grambling falls to 1-5. Alabama A&M goes to 2-4. Georgia Southern, Georgia State. I predicted that game. I said that Georgia State would win that game. They did. They won it 41-33, put them at 2-4, and Georgia Southern falls to 3-3. Okay, so South Florida was really a good game. They was beating Cincinnati most of that game, but Cincinnati was able to pull that game out when it counted. South Florida, they didn't take the A+ game on the road. It was more like a B- games, and they end up losing that game 28-24 to Cincinnati at Cincinnati. Cincinnati goes to 5-1 now, and South Florida goes to 1-5. That was a pretty decent game. Another game I want to talk about is Jackson State and Alabama State. Alabama State goes to 3-3. Jackson State is 5-0. Deion Sanders took his music and his A+ game and his A+ team down to Alabama State and put a whooping on them 26-12. So Jackson State is looking pretty good. I look for Deion and Jackson State possibly to run the table over there in that conference. Jackson State is looking really good. Deion is doing a good job there. Excellent job there. Excellent job. And my shout out to Deion Sanders going undefeated with Jackson State. Game I want to touch on is Auburn and Georgia. Auburn came into Georgia, knew they wasn't going to bring their A+ game. I said that they didn't have enough for Georgia, and Georgia just walloped them 42-10. Georgia goes to 6-0. Auburn goes to 3-3. Georgia defense and running game finally came back together after kind of a rough start last week against Missouri. So, but Georgia was just too much for Auburn. Auburn goes to 3-3. Georgia goes to 6-0. That game was was a complete blowout there. Wisconsin completely blowed out Northwestern. They took their A game on the road to Northwestern and beat them 42-7. Wisconsin is 3-3 now. Northwestern falls to 1-5. So Wisconsin got a new intern coach there. Of course, they fired their coach a couple weeks ago. So we'll see how they continue to try to get back on stay on the winning track. Oklahoma State, we got to watch out for them because they're starting to play pretty good ball right now. They got them moved up in the polls to number 7 in the polls, and they played Texas Tech. Texas Tech took their B game on the road and tried to deal with Oklahoma State, but Oklahoma State was just a little bit too much for them. Oklahoma State now is 5-0. They beat Texas Tech 41-31 at home. So watch out for Oklahoma State. Of course, Jim knows he went to defensive coordinator, went to Ohio State, and Oklahoma State defense don't seem like it missed a beat. But even though they gave up 31 points, their offense was able to pull that game out. Game I really want to touch on too also is Utah at UCLA. I picked Utah to win that game. I picked Utah to take the A game on the road into UCLA. Going into that game, Utah was 4-1, and of course UCLA was 5-0. And of course UCLA outgunned them 42-32 at home. That Jake Bobo, I was speaking about him. That guy is a beast, man. He can catch the ball. He had a touchdown, bunch of yards in that game. Jake Bobo was able to help UCLA beat Utah at home 42-32. UCLA, it seemed like they are for real, and I can't wait till they play USC. That's gonna be the game that I really want to watch them play, is when they play USC, and we'll be talking about that game when it comes up. Miami of Ohio was at home against Kent State. Kent State took their B+ game to Miami of Ohio, and they tried to win that game, but Miami of Ohio outlasted them by a field goal, 27-24. So Miami of Ohio goes to 3-3. Kent State goes to 2-4. Toledo is the team that I really predicted to get a bowl game and win that MAC conference over there. Toledo is 4-2. North in Illinois, they're 1-6. So they're not ready yet. Toledo took their A plus game to to Northern Illinois and beat them 52-32, beat them by 20 there. So Toledo is on the road, and they're playing pretty good. That quarterback for Toledo is pretty good. He's a good quarterback there. That quarterback that Toledo has. So Toledo is on the move, and watch out for them over in the MAC. Team that I want to talk about right here in the ATL, besides Georgia, and we all know how good Georgia is Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech 3-3. Duke is 4-2. Duke came on down to Georgia Tech. I thought Duke would win that game, but Georgia Tech was at home and they had the A game ready for Duke coming in there, and Georgia Tech was able to win that game 23-20. Big win for Georgia Tech. Big win for Georgia Tech over Duke. Another good game was North Carolina over Miami of Florida. Miami came in at right now they're 2-3, and North Carolina is 5-1. North Carolina was able to go down to Miami, down there and hang out on the beach for a while, and then go to the stadium and put something on Miami 27-24. Close game there. Another game I wanted to touch on before we move on is this game was a decent game. It's Illinois State and Northern Iowa. Illinois State ended up winning that game 23-21. Illinois State is 3-2. Northern Iowa is 2-4. So that was just a game. Kennesaw State right here in the state of Georgia. Kennesaw State is up around Marietta, up in that area. Northern Alabama came down here to see Kennesaw State and see what they could do with them, but it wasn't enough. Kennesaw State ended up winning that game 40-34 and moved their record to 2-3. And Northern Alabama falls to 1-4. Bethune-Cookman played Tennessee State. They wasn't enough. They didn't have enough. They 1-4. And also Tennessee State is also 1-4. Tennessee State ended up winning that game 41-17. So those games right there was teams that hadn't won a game. And now Appalachian State, I thought they was going to be playing better. They're 3-3 now, and they play Texas State, and Texas State is also 3-3. Texas State was able to beat Appalachian State 36-24 in that game. That was a pretty decent game there. Clemson, I want to touch on them a little bit. Clemson went to Boston College and took their A+ game on the road. Of course, everybody know what Clemson can do. They're number 5 in the nation. I believe they moved up in the poll. I'm going to give that out here shortly. Clemson took their A game, A+ game to Boston College and jumped all over them 31-3 to move to 6-0. Boston College fall to 2-4. So Clemson, gotta watch out for them. They seem like they want to play some good ball. And they got some tough games coming up too, so we're gonna see how good they fare out in the coming weeks. South Carolina, this was a big upset right here. South Carolina's 4-2, and of course Kentucky is 4-2. But South Carolina took their A+ game. They took the A+ game. Yes, they did. They took it down to Kentucky and put something on Kentucky 24-14. Kentucky came in that game ranked at number 13, so that was an upset there. Big win for South Carolina in that game. Wake Forest, they went into their game at home at 45-10, and they was able to beat Army 45-10 in that game. And of course, Army ain't looking that good right now as far as football is concerned. They're 1-4. Wake Forest is 5-1. Illinois, was a field goal game. Illinois ended up winning that game 9-6 over Iowa at home. They was at home. Illinois goes to 5-1 now, and Iowa falls to 3-3. So watch out for Illinois in the Big Ten over there. Uh, Kansas State, Iowa State was another good one, close game. Not a lot of points in that game. Kansas State was able to win that game. They're 4-1. They beat Iowa State. Iowa State falls to 3-3. They beat Iowa State 10-9 at that game, and Kansas State went to Iowa and showed Iowa, said, "Well, we can win this game," and they ended up winning it by 1 point. Another big game was another upset. Notre Dame had a rough season starting out, and BYU started out pretty good. BYU went up to Notre Dame and tried to do something with them. Took their A game on the road to play Notre Dame. BYU is ranked number 16 in the nation. They're 4-2. Notre Dame is 3-2 now, but Notre Dame was able to get them at home and had their A+ game ready at home to beat BYU A+ game on the road. So Notre Dame won that game 28-20. So that's a big win, upset win for Notre Dame, beating the ranked team there, number 16. Another game, USC. They're ranked number 6 in the nation. They was at home, and Washington State came in there. Washington State came in at 4-1, and of course USC was 5-0 going into that game, and now USC is 6-0. Washington State is 4-2, and USC was able to win that game by 16. They ended up winning that game 30-14 on Saturday. Another good game that I want to touch on a little bit more. Conversation-wise, is Alabama and Texas A&M. Fisher talked all that trash about how Saban get his players money-wise, but how do he get his players? I mean, it goes both ways. It could be two peas in the same pot. But Texas A&M took they took their A+ game down to Alabama, and they went to Alabama, and it was a good game. Texas A&M had a chance to win that game. Like 3 seconds left, down on the Alabama 2-yard line, something like that. But they couldn't get it in, and Alabama pulled that game out 24-20. So shame on you, Texas A&M. You couldn't get it in. You had a chance to win that game, and you couldn't do it. Alabama defense stood tall down there on the goal line, and Texas A&M, they covered the spread though, because Alabama was giving them 24 points. So that was tough, and it was under a 48. So either way, if you took Texas A&M in the 24, you would have won that game if you played a parlay or something. But Alabama, their defense stood up when they needed to, and they did okay. Another game that I picked you that NC State would beat Florida State, and they did. They was at home. They beat Florida State 19-17 to move NC State to 5-1. Florida is now at 4-2. Oregon also is another game. I predicted that Oregon would beat Arizona, and they did. Arizona now is at 3-3. Oregon is at 5-1. Oregon won that game 49-22. Was a good game. Excuse me. Another good game that I predicted Oregon State to beat Stanford. I took Oregon State in that game, and they went down. They went to Stanford and won by 1 point, 28-27. Knocked Stanford down to 1-4, and Oregon State went to 4-2. Okay, so and that's how that went on the scores. So right now, I'm going to give you for the AP poll right now. They still have they have right now. They have Alabama at number 1, Georgia 2, Ohio State 3. They got Clemson ahead of Michigan right now at 4. They moved Michigan down to 5. And they got Tennessee at number 6. And they got USC at 7. So they jumped. Tennessee over jumped USC was at number 6, so they moved down to number 7. So I really don't too much see it that way. The way I see it, I mean, my top 7 teams. I'm going to go with. I'm going to put Georgia back at number 1. I'm going to put Ohio State. Ohio State at number 2. Ohio State defense is really playing good right now. They really are. And that offense, you better have a good defense to slow them down because they're getting better. They're getting better and better. We're gonna find out how really good they are. They got Penn State coming up in another week or so. Penn State also got Michigan this coming week, so that's going to be a very good game that I'll be watching. But like I said, I got Georgia at 1, Ohio State at 2. I got Alabama at 3. I got Clemson at 4, Michigan at 5. I got USC at 6, and I got Tennessee at 7. So my top 7 is totally different. It's totally different than it's totally different that what they have, and so but I think Georgia I think Georgia should be back at number 1 after Alabama kind of struggled um, against Texas A&M this past weekend, and Ohio State played good against Michigan State, and so uh, we'll see how that go in the coming weeks. I'm sure it's going to change because there's some good games going to be coming up. But that's how that go. Um, we're going to go back over to. I want to get back over to the NBA preseason that was going on. Also, this yesterday and over the weekend, last night, they had a few games on, preseason games on last night. And the Bulls, they played the Raptors, and they took their A game on the road and beat Toronto. Preseason game went 15-98. The Pelicans, they went on the road and San Antonio and beat them 111-97. So it's just preseason scores. The Trailblazers, they went on the road to Sacramento Kings, preseason game. Sacramento was at home. They beat them 126-94. The Timberwolves and the Clippers played a preseason game last night. The Timberwolves was able to get past the Clippers by 2 in that game, 119 to 119 to 117, and of course, everybody know that Kawhi Leonard was out was out all of last year and didn't play. So we're gonna see how he do when he come back. He didn't play. He didn't play last night. He didn't play last night. So they're being cautious with him, and I can understand that. So we're gonna see how that goes about what he did. They did get him in there though. He wasn't supposed to play last night, but they did get him in there for 16 minutes. He had 8 points. And they, of course, they got John Wall too. John Wall had 20 points in that game in 19 minutes. So I'm gonna see the Clippers. Clippers will be there. They were saying that somebody was saying that they think that Clippers will be the biggest threat to Golden State this year. I don't think so. I really don't. I don't think the Clippers will be the bigger threat to Golden State than Phoenix or the Memphis Grizzlies. But I look for, like I said, I look for the Warriors. The Warriors played last night. Also, of course, the second half they played a lot of the guys who are going to be on the team or make the roster or whatever. But the Lakers ended up winning that game last night, 124 to 121. Of course, I've been talking trash about Anthony Davis, and he was talking about he's in the best shape of his life, and he want to win the MVP this year. Well, we're gonna see. He played last night. Last two preseason games, he didn't play. LeBron didn't play last night, but they had Anthony Davis out there last night, and he put in 21 minutes, put up 28 points. 28 points in 21 minutes last night for Anthony Davis. He looked pretty good. I watched part of the game. He had 3 rebounds, 3 assists. He looked pretty good shooting his jumpers and putting the ball on the floor and do what he normally do. So he looked pretty good. Kendrick Nunn played. He also had 21 points in 25 minutes. So he played pretty good last night. Westbrook did not play last night. We'll see how that go. On the other side of the ball, of course, Golden State. I'm not worried about them. Wiggins. He had 15 points in 22 minutes. Poole had 25 points. And he played 23 minutes. Curry played 24 minutes and had 24 points. And Wiseman, the guy that I really got hopes on for helping Golden State in the middle of this year. He's finally healthy. He played last night. He had 13 points in 18 minutes, and he'll be coming off the bench behind Looney. So Looney did play last night, and he looked okay. He had 7 points. He had 7 points in 21 minutes and 6 rebounds, 2 assists. I want to touch on Draymond Green. Did not play. He stepped away from the team for a few days after the incident with him and Jordan Poole. Like I said, people say not much or nothing, but your teammates, man. You don't put your hand on a teammate. I don't care if if you're trying to get the teammate motivated or if you're pushing and shoving each other in practice. If you're teammates, you got to be friends. You got to be friends if you're teammates. I think Poole did the right thing by not retaliating and went on and did his workout and went home, went about his business. And now Green is apologizing to the team and to the organization or whatever. I don't know what's going to come of that, if they're going to fine him, but he did step away for a few days away from the team. But like I said, your teammates, basketball, football. I mean, I know it happens in football, and you're out there practicing in the hot sun. You get frustrated when somebody get the best of you, but you teammates. You don't put your fists up and try to hit somebody. You know what I'm saying? There's a better way to go about it. So that's scores and stuff. I got to say on that. From what happened between Draymond Green and Jordan Poole, but the Golden State will be just fine. They'll be just fine. I think they'll be just fine. Let's jump right on over to the NBA game that I also didn't mention. Was I believe it was Saturday game. Saturday NBA on Saturday there was a game that was played that I had wanted to touch on, and I believe it was see if I can see what was going on there. Let's see, it was Saturday. No, maybe it wasn't Saturday. It wasn't Saturday. Okay, so I did touch on that game. And that was the Lakers game, which was last night. So we're gonna jump right on over to the NFL and to the scores and talk a little bit about that. What happened yesterday? 49ers took their A game down to Carolina. Of course, the Panthers would say they wanted some Debo, or they got some Debo last night. It was a good game. Good game for the 49ers. As far as receiving wise, Debo he had 9 targets at him last night. So he had a touchdown in that game, and in receiving he didn't catch a whole lot of yards or anything like that. He didn't have to because the 49ers defense played excellent ball against Baker Mayfield, and so they played excellent ball against Baker Mayfield yesterday, and they ended up winning that game 37-15. The 49ers over the Panthers yesterday. Game yesterday morning that really surprised me. I took the Packers in that game. The Giants took their A game on the road over to London and beat Aaron Rodgers. The Packers was giving them 9 points, and the Giants ended up winning that game 27-22 to move to 4-1. Packers fall to 3-2. I don't know about the Packers right now. Their defense can't stop nobody. They better hurry up and get it together, else they won't be making the playoffs. Because Minnesota is playing better. Chicago, even though they lost, they're playing better ball now. So I think Aaron Rodgers is kind of frustrated over there. You should have kept number 17. That's what you should have did. But so they're frustrated over there. The game that I really want to touch on, I'm going to touch on it. I'm going to make that the last game I touch on. But the Chargers went to Cleveland, took their A game to Cleveland from California to Ohio, and beat the Browns by 2 points, 30-28. The Browns had a chance to win that game in closing seconds. Guy missed the field goal. The kicker missed the field goal to win that game for the Browns. But Chargers ended up pulling it out and to go 3-2 at 30-28. The Browns falls to 2-3. And the Texans finally got a win. You know, they're going into that game. They were 0-3-1. And they went into Jacksonville down there in Florida and did something to them, 13-6. Jacksonville falls to 2-3. Texas now is 1-3-1. The Bears had a chance to win their game in Minnesota, but they couldn't pull it out. And I do believe they play again in Chicago, so that's going to be interesting. The Bears falls to 2-3. Minnesota goes to 4-1. Minnesota 29-22 over the Bears. The Patriots and the Lions. You know, I said on one of my show last week, I said I thought the Detroit Lions could make the playoffs this year, but after what happened yesterday, what I saw yesterday and last weekend, I'm going to retract on that. The Lions is just not a good team right now. They're 1-4. The Patriots completely shut them out, 29-20, and Matt Jones didn't even play, and they had backup quarterback in there. So the Patriots goes to 2-3 now, and the 29-0 over the Detroit Lions. The New Orleans Saints goes to 2-3. Seattle Seahawks goes to 2-3. The Saints won that game 39-32 yesterday at home. Seattle had a chance to tie the game up, but they couldn't get it done, and the Saints held on to win at home 39-32, which was a pretty good game. The Jets, the Dolphins, you know, I had the Dolphins in my first top 10 last week at number 10, and they won't be there this week when I do my top 10. The Jets was at home. They played their A game, and they really looked good. The defense looked good. They completely shut the Dolphins down. Jets won that game 40-17. They ended up having to put their third string quarterback in there. Thompson Bridgewater went out. I believe it was a concussion or something like that. So the Jets end up winning that game. Jets defense looks pretty good. Jets are 3-2 right now. They're 3-2 over there, and so is the Dolphins are 3-2. So watch out for the Jets. Like I say, they upset you. They'll upset you. They'll upset you. Ask Pittsburgh. Ask the Browns. So, but anyway, the Falcons and the Buccaneers, Atlanta, they took their game down to Florida. See Tom Brady yesterday, and Tom Brady didn't disappoint at home. They won a close one there, 21-15. Tampa Bay over Atlanta. Atlanta goes to 2-3. Tampa Bay goes to 3-2, and so we're going to see how good Tampa Bay is moving forward. Atlanta played them hard yesterday. They had a chance to really get into that game and possibly win that game. What I want to talk about in that game is the sack that was put on Tom Brady yesterday, and they called roughing the passer. No way that's roughing the passer. No way. No way. You might as well put a dress on these quarterbacks. If that's roughing the passer, you might as well put a skirt on them. You might as well put a skirt on them. That's not roughing the passer. That was a totally, absolutely bad call by the referees. And they know it. Is it because Tampa Bay was at home and they wanted Tampa Bay to win that game? I don't know. Is that cheating or what they doing? That was not a bad call. A good tackle. A good tackle. A good tackle. Referees, wake up. My God, that was absolutely horrible, horrible call. So I ain't gonna touch on that too much, but I watched that and I saw that play and I'm like, how can you get roughing the passer out of that? I've seen quarterbacks slam down harder than that and they don't call roughing the passer. Oh my goodness. Another pretty good game was Tennessee and the Commanders. Washington, Tennessee went to Washington, went up to DC and handled them 21-17, close game. Derrick Henry had 2 touchdowns in that game. Tennessee ended up winning that game 21-17. It goes to 3-2, and Washington falls to 1-4. As I said on my show, Carson Wentz is just not the answer there. There's going to be some good quarterbacks coming out this year out of college. So I'm looking for some of these teams that ain't playing good ball and not winning and don't have really a good quarterback to be drafting these quarterbacks. Okay. Another good game was the Eagles and the Cardinals. The Eagles ended up winning that game 2017. They go to 5-0. And the Cardinals goes to 2-3. So the Cardinals had a chance to tie the game up. Second left, guy missed a field goal. These kickers has been missing a lot of field goals this year and extra points, and I just can't understand it. But so the Eagles end up winning that game and staying undefeated. So they're 5-0, and they got the Cowboys next week. Cowboys, talk about them. And they went to LA and did the same thing that the 49ers did last week. So they must have been watching the 49ers defense the way they played, because the Cowboys defense really played good yesterday against the Rams. They won that game 22-10. That boy Michael Parsons, I tell you, he's a beast, man. He makes that defense a lot better. That front line they got is good. It's just as good as the 49ers, but I still think 49ers defense is number one. I'm going to get my top defenses before I leave the show. Top 5 or top 6 defenses that I think in the league right now. But the Cowboys really play good. They impressed me. It wasn't a whole lot about Cooper Rush. He only passed for like 105 yards, less than 110 yards. He didn't need to because the defense was just outstanding for the Cowboys yesterday. The Bengals and the Ravens last night was a good game. The Bengals probably thought they was going to win that game. They had the A game on the road. They went up to Baltimore and was winning that game until they let Lamar Jackson get the ball last and go down the field and do his thing and put him in position for the field goal. And of course, that Baltimore has the best field goal kicker in football. And it's been like that for some years now. Justin Tucker is not no joke, man. He's a Hall of Fame kicker. Believe that. He makes about 98% of his field goals. He's not going to miss. He hit one last night for 58 yards, and possibly could have went 65 yards. I mean, it looked like that. It could have went. It could have went. Maybe went that far. I think he could hit one if it comes down to it. That guy can really kick. But the Ravens end up pulling that game out 1917 on a winning field goal by Justin Tucker. He's a great kicker. I can't say too enough about him. Baltimore really needed that game last night. So that's how that is. That's how that went down last night. Tonight, in football, we got the Raiders and the Chiefs play tonight. The Raiders is going into the game 1-3. The Chiefs are going in at 3-1. I look for the Chiefs to win that game. They're giving the Raiders 7 points. I'm going to take Kansas City in that game at home tonight. Derek Carr still not impressing me. Even though they got AD over there. They ain't giving the ball like he's supposed to. But I know Aaron Rodgers missed him up there. And I know he missed him up there in Green Bay. So we're gonna see tonight. I think Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes is just too much. So Kansas City should be able to play their A+ game at home tonight. At home. So my top. I want to say, as far as teams that's starting to really show up, I think the 49ers, Cowboys, and Philly are in the NFC is really there's going to be something to deal with on down the road. We're going to see because 49ers got a really tough schedule coming up. They got Atlanta. They'll be here in Atlanta this Sunday. And so we're gonna see how that goes. They got Kansas City coming up. Of course, the Cowboys got a tough schedule coming up. Also, they got Philadelphia this week. So that's in Philly. Like I said, Philly at Philly. So that's gonna be tough. Philadelphia. I get my top 10 out on Thursday. I will say that Philly still is my number one team right now in my top 10. But as far as defenses, I'm gonna give you my top. I'm gonna give you my top four defenses right now in the NFL. And the way I see it, ESPN and CBS, they got their own top. They own top 4, top 5 defenses. They got the top 20 and all that. But I don't need to go that far because a lot of those teams that's in the top 10, 11, 12, 13 on down there, they probably won't even make the playoffs, even though they're playing decent defense. So we're gonna see. But like I say. It's a long season. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. And anything can happen. Yesterday for the 49ers, Boza, he kind of is growing, kind of tightened up on him, so they took him out. That game, Mosley, defensive back Mosley for the 49ers, he intercepted a pick 6 and took it to the house and ended up breaking his hand later in the game. So no. He tore his ACL. So he's out for the year. I really hate to see the 49ers lose him, but I tell you, they got some guys over there on that bench. Next man up. Believe me, the 49ers are deep. They are deep. That defensive line is deep. Armstead and Kinsler are still out, and they looked good yesterday. Once they get those two guys back on that defensive line, woo! Look out. But right now, my top 4 defenses in the NFL, I got the 49ers at number 1. I got the Cowboys at number 2. I got the Buffalo Bills at number 3. And I got the Philadelphia Eagles at number 4 as far as defenses in the league. And like I say, my chat line is open if you guys want to hit me up and chat in for a little bit and let me know what you think. I'm more than welcome um, to read it and respond to you. Um, okay, I want to talk about, before I get out of here, I'm going to give you some games that's going to also be coming on tonight on preseason basketball games tonight. This is one game I want to talk about again on preseason. But anyway, I want to talk about the Steelers, the Texans, and the Lions, and Washington. No, Washington, like I said, Carson Wentz, he's just not the guy right now. I don't know what they're going to do there. They was driving down there. And he threw an interception in the game, had a possibly chance to tie the game up or win the game. And Washington, you're trash, trash, you're trash, Washington. If I ain't saying it right, I'm saying it, trash. The Lions, I said last week that the way they was playing, they putting points on the board, and they couldn't do it yesterday. Trash. Detroit Lions, trash. They main running back and receivers out, but that's no excuse. Next man up. Detroit Lions are trash. You hear me? Trash. If you're a Lions fan, I'm gonna call it like I see it. I'm just calling it. You're trash. So that's how I feel about the Lions. The Texans won their first game. You know, they went to Jacksonville and got that win. But one thing about the Texans, Lovie Smith gonna have them playing defense, but to me, they're still trash. You know, you're 1-3-1, you're trash. That's all I got to say. You're trash. And them Pittsburgh Steelers, trash. Mike Tomlin, you might as well roll with Kenny Pickett the rest of the year. He threw in some interceptions yesterday, but he had 300 and some yards passing, but you only had 3 points on the board. I don't know who the offensive coordinator is calling the plays. The defense stinking it up. Offensive line stinking it up. I mean, it's pathetic. You go to Buffalo and get completely out. Like I said in my last show, the score could be 35-3, or 30-3. Josh Allen ain't gonna stop throwing that ball. They ain't gonna take him out, and they didn't. And he kept throwing it, setting records, 400-something yards passing. Woo! They put it on them Steelers yesterday. I feel sorry for you, but you're still trash. You gotta show me something better. And the schedule don't get no easier. You know, you can't run no sprint and hope the season be over with tomorrow. It ain't gonna work like that. You gotta play it out. It's a marathon. You got 11 more games. So we're gonna see. But right now, those 4 teams to me right now, I mean, I don't know, but the Miami Dolphins, they better hurry up and get to it back. You know, I mean, I know you're out with a concussion and all of that, but they don't look the same without their quarterback, the Dolphins. And it makes a difference. It makes a difference when you got a pretty good offense, receivers, decent running back, decent defense, but your quarterback is out hurt, your main man. But like I say, you know, they don't really have a dynamite backup. Bridgewater was trying to do his thing, but he ended up going out hurt yesterday. So they had to roll with the third string. So right now we're gonna see. So I'm gonna see what Patrick Mahomes do tonight against the Raiders. Possibly Thursday, I might give out top 3, 4, 5 quarterbacks in the league. Haven't did that yet this year, but I know Patrick Mahomes to me right now is number one. But that boy Josh Allen, Buffalo, everybody is jumping on Buffalo's wagon. I ain't on that wagon yet. I ain't on that wagon. I ain't on that wagon. They got a good team. I ain't gonna deny that. The quarterback is playing good. A lot of teams playing good now. The 49ers should be 5-0. They shouldn't have lost to Chicago. They shouldn't have lost to Denver. Denver stinks. Denver stinks. They trash too. Denver is trash. I ain't trying to say Russell Wilson, there's something wrong with his shoulder. He got a little tear or something in his shoulder. You shouldn't be out there playing if you're hurt. And a lot of people, because he ran over there and got that big money from Denver, picked Denver to do something in that division. But right now, it looks like Kansas City got a hold on it. We'll find out tonight. I think Kansas City and LA Chargers is probably going to be the top two teams in that division. Be fighting for it, for the division champs. Those two teams. I can't see the Raiders and Denver doing nothing there. Over in the NFC West, 49ers got the lead over there. Now they're 2-3. Everybody else is 49ers is 3-2. Everybody else is 2-3. So 49ers is in first place there. Over in the NFC East, there with Dallas Cowboys and the Giants. The Giants is looking pretty decent over there. I'm totally surprised with them. I'm still not sold on Daniel Jones. But that boy Barkley is running that ball. He's leading the lead in scrimmage yards so far in 5 games. So the Eagles, the Cowboys, and the Giants is playing pretty good ball over there. We're gonna see when they start playing against each other. We're gonna see who's the last man standing. We're gonna find out. So I'm gonna touch on too much. I gave you the rundown on the scores for this past weekend. I will give you my my top teams on Thursday. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking on. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking Monday Night Football. Tonight's game, tonight's game, and some preseason basketball that's going on tonight, and baseball playoffs heating up tomorrow, starting tomorrow around 107 on Fox. There's a few games on tonight. The Phoenix Suns is playing the Denver Nuggets preseason basketball tonight, 9:00. Rockets and the Heat are playing tonight, 7:30. And the Wizards and the Hornets is on at 7 tonight. NBA preseason game out. I'll watch until the football game come on. And I might have both of them going on at the same time. The 76ers is at the Cavaliers because the Cavs lost the preseason game to Philadelphia last week by 1 point. 1 or 2 points, I believe it was. It's on NBA TV tonight at 7:00 if you guys want to check some of that out. Like I said, the Cavs got a squad. Woo! The Cavs tonight. Cavaliers is on tonight. I'm gonna watch some of that. I think some of the players starting to heat up and get a little bit more. The starters getting a little bit more playing time because they only some of these teams is only playing 4 or 5 preseason games. I think the most they're probably playing is 6 at the most. So we ain't got that many more days before the regular season starts. Today is October the 10th. I believe the regular season is going to start a week from tomorrow. A week from tomorrow, the regular season will get underway. A week from tomorrow, to be around October the 18th. So a week from tomorrow, Tuesday, the regular season NBA will be getting underway, and we're gonna have a lot to talk about once that gets started. We're gonna see who's gonna do what this year, but I'm gonna be following them Cavaliers. I'm gonna be following them Lakers. I'm gonna be following a whole lot of teams. Golden State. I'm gonna be following them Bucks. I'm gonna see what the Atlanta Hawks gonna do down here. See what kind of king they're gonna raise. It's gonna. I'm telling you, basketball is gonna be good this year. The Heat has got better. You know, Milwaukee Bucks has got better. You see what Brooklyn, KD and Kyrie gonna do over there. You know, we're gonna see in another week or two. But right now, football is really starting to get good. We're gonna find out who on these teams. You got guys like Michael Irvin is talking a lot of trash about them Cowboys now. Their defensive line. He said the Cowboys. He think the Cowboys got the number one defense in the league. I think the 49ers got the number one defense in the league. We number one in almost every category across the board. So we're gonna see. We handled them last year. I'm not saying they defense has gotten it's probably gotten better than it was last year. But we went to Dallas and handled them last year. I think we can handle them again. Like I say, Jimmy G. He ain't a great quarterback, but he a good quarterback. The last two games, no turnovers. Offensive line is playing great. He might have had one sack yesterday. That's about it. But he ain't turning the ball over right now. And as long as he don't do that and the way that defense playing, woo! You know, and that boy Cooper Rush, he doing the same thing. He ain't turning the ball over. Their defense, woo! Their defense is playing good ball. You know, I don't know what's going on with the Rams. You know, Matt Stafford, he's supposed to be the quarterback to do what he got to do to win, but he ain't did it the last two games. And Jalen Ramsey talk all that smack. I don't see him stopping nobody. Of course, C. Lamb he didn't do a whole lot yesterday. So so we're gonna see. You know, it's gonna get interesting. You know, over there in the NFC. You know, in the NFC and the AFC. You know, I think right now the top teams in the NFC. You know, if you want to look at who's the best teams in the NFC right now, it's besides the Eagles. You know. Cowboys, 49ers. You know, you might want to throw the Giants in there in the NFC. You know, so we're gonna see. It's gonna get interesting. AFC, you know, it's gonna be the same way. You know, Buffalo, Kansas City. You know, the Chargers. You know, it's some teams over there that's playing good ball. Some teams in the league right now, National Football League, that's 2-2, and they better than what you think they are. So you got to bring your A game every Sunday now. I mean, these games are getting tight and close, and these teams coming in at 2-2 or 2-3, they don't care nothing because you 3-2 or you 4-1. They don't care nothing about they coming in there trying to win. So you better have your A game ready. But like I say, you know, the key to football, the key to sports, the key to basketball, soccer, hockey. You gotta stay healthy, man. You gotta stay healthy. You know, you can't afford to lose a lot of key players, man. Your number one guy, if you ain't got a number two guy behind him that's pretty good, he's supposed to be stepping up. Now, a lot of times these backup guys, they don't step up to the plate. They can't bring it. I mean, look at Miami. Tua goes down, and wow, well, that's two in a row since he's hurt. Hopefully he'll get better and come back. So I'm gonna get ready and get out of here. There's things I wanted to touch on today. So we all know you guys watched the games yesterday. You guys know who won. You know who lost. So, but like I say, the game tonight. Uh, you guys make your picks, but I'm taking Kansas City tonight. If you guys playing a parlay tonight, they're giving Oakland 7.5, 7 on some, 7.5. That half a point always get you. It will get you, mess you up. So if you're playing some parlays out there in Vegas or whatever tonight, be careful on who you take. But I look for Patrick Mahomes to have him and Travis Kelce to have a big game tonight. So you guys have a good one. God bless you. Subscribe to my channel. View my videos. And I did want to say my first video, my first show came on, I believe it was September 30th, a week ago. It's been about 8 days, but the very first show, you guys need to go and watch that show because I've been getting a lot of views on that show. It was my first show, and I've been getting some love on my Facebook page and some calls that they were saying that first show was dynamite. It was my first show. I kind of made maybe a few mistakes there, but a lot of people loved it that first show, and you guys can go to that first show and view it and give me some more views on that and touch me up today and give me some love. Because I love all you guys out there. I love all you guys. Honestly, and from the heart, I'm keeping it real. I love everybody. I ain't no hate in my heart, none at all, not for nobody. Uh, if I don't love you, I like you. Okay, this is Earl J, and it's been real.